Next thing up is overlimping. That's sort of something I wanted to talk about. As stacks get shallower later on in the tournament, I'll often mix in some overlimping. The downside of raising some good but not very good hands is that you can't call a shove, so that to the extent your opponent limp shoves on you, you've allowed him to blow you out of the pot when you had a decent hand. And B, and we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, but if you're called, you'll often create a shallow stack to pot ratio because stacks are shallow and now you're playing in a raised pot. And this is not advantageous to you, given that a shallow stack to pot ratio is often going to negate your positional advantage, again, because there are fewer decisions to be made. There are less streets of decisions to be made. So when you limp, instead, you keep stacks deep relative to the pot, increasing the number of decisions to be made after the flop, and thereby making your positional advantage that much more important. And also, one other thing that happens in limp pots is that because no one has taken the betting lead pre-flop, people often tend to play pretty straightforwardly after the flop. They'll bet if they have it and check if they don't. So when you get checked to in position in a limp pot, you can usually take a shot at the pot pretty confidently. It's just a nice way to expand the amount of post-flop pots you can play when you're in late position. And I did include an example hand of this here. So this is a hand where, and remember, when we're talking about stack size, we're talking about effective stack size. And so this is a hand where, when this guy enters the pot, the effective stack size isn't my stack, it's his stack. So we're talking about like 30 big blinds effective. And so rather than raising over him, and as a caveat, this is probably the earliest position that I would overlimp from, is the hijack. As you limp from earlier and earlier position, there's more players to act after you that can raise, or just overlimp past you, and therefore make it so that, you're not in position after the flop. But we do go 3 ways to the flop, and as we discussed, it happens here. I get checked to, and I'm able to take a shot with nothing with jack high, and feel pretty confident about that shot, because to the extent that they had top pair, they often would have bet with it.